Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Faust. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am like, I don't know, all the words left my brain just a second ago. Welcome, everybody, to my Tuesday Night Live video. It was like I had all these thoughts going through my head. I was like, introduce yourself, say where you're from, welcome them, tell them to leave comments, and they all just like gerbled. You know how it goes. Anyway, welcome everyone. My name is Melissa Faust. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the great state of Minnesota, and I am super duper excited for the bundle we're playing with today. I do lives every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Time, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. We make 4 projects together, usually cards, sometimes something else. Today it's all cards, and I think that's all. As you join, whether you are watching live or on the replay, please leave a comment, say hello, let me know that you're watching. I do go back and look at the replay comments as well, so I love to see it. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Marva. Hi, Alicia. I like to wait until I see at least one YouTube comment and one Facebook comment. Oh, Lene, welcome. She said she made a live. I'm so excited. I like to wait because I do stream both to Facebook and YouTube so that you can watch wherever you prefer. Just so you know, Facebook does delete live videos now after 30 days. So if you're ever in the future, like a couple months from now, saying, I really want to watch that tractor video, where can I find it? Go over to YouTube because it'll be there. So Nancy said she bought the set and she can't wait to use it. You guys, I used almost every single stamp, and I think I have to look. I think I used every die. I'm just like verifying. Oh, I used almost every die. There's 2 that I did not use, but you could use them. You could add them in very easily to the cards we're making tonight. So, I do have a tractor shirt on for you all today. I do not live on a farm. I have never lived on a farm. But when I was in, I think it was middle school, there was a song that came out. So for any of you out there who are country music fans, Big Green Tractor by Jason Aldean, that is one of my all-time favorite songs. And because I listen to country music at the Minnesota State Fair, which is a really big deal if you didn't know, the State Fair is a huge deal, the country radio station was selling this shirt, and so I had to buy it. So I have owned this shirt for probably like 15 years, and I love it. And I thought, I have to wear that because we're playing with the tractor set. I have to be appropriately costumed, right? So it was a good excuse to wear this today. So anywho, welcome everybody. I am so excited to have you join me today. We are going to get started in just a second. I forgot props to talk about one thing, so I'm just going to tell you this here, and then we'll flip down to my desktop and get started. But I did want to let you know I am doing, it's 2 weeks from now is when the first video will start, a craft along series. So if you have not been around for any of my craft alongs, I do them a couple of times a year. I partner with other demonstrators on them, so you get designs from all of us, but we each will do our own series of videos. So I will share a video each day for 4 days, starting on Tuesday, August 26th, all the way through the 29th, so 4 days. I'll share 2 fun fold cards each day, and they are designed by different people. This like shadow over here is distracting me. I'm like, what is that? Anyway, so you'll get 2 fun fold cards on Tuesday, 2 more on Wednesday, etc., etc. If you join the YouTuber video, you can watch for free. It is open to anybody who wants to watch it. If you are interested in a craft along kit, if you want, I'm going to show you like, we're cutting this piece of cardstock in half and we're folding it in half and all that stuff. That's how a craft along works. I walk you through each and every step. So if you are wanting a kit so that you can craft along live with me, or you can do it on the replay or whatever, those kits are open right now. You can register for one through Sunday. So the last day is Sunday. So I wanted to let you know, in case you're interested, you know, you're thinking about it, the deadline's just a couple days away. So, and I do have, because of the gifts that we are including this time, I do have a limited number that I'm offering this time. So just keep in mind we're, you know, just in case it could sell out. So it probably won't, but you know, you shoot high. Anyway, okay, so there's all of that good stuff. If you need the link for that, it is in the description of this video. So once you are done watching the live, you can click on the description, view that, click on the link to register, or you can head to my website, www.stampwithmelissa.com, 1L, 2 S's. You can see it this way in my name. It's mirrored for me. The whole video is mirrored for me. So where am I pointing? I don't know. You can head to my website, stampwithmelissa.com, and click on the classes tab and then go and register from there. So All right. Oh, that is funny. Margaret said she likes the "You Think My Tractor's Sexy" song. I have it in my head. I'm not going to sing that one out loud. All right, so let's go ahead. I am going to share my desktop so we can get started on our projects today. So we are using the Tractor & Co. bundle. Oh my word. Like I said, I have never lived on a farm, but man, this is so stinking cute for everybody. I think I love it. Welcome Stacy. Hi everyone. Okay, so this is a photopolymer stamp set. You can see the only stamps I am not using, and you could use them, are the seat. We do use the seat die. I just didn't stamp it. I just used the die. And then there's two sentiments in here. Thinking of you and thanks for pulling me through. Both very sweet sentiments. For me, I wanted to make more masculine birthday cards today, so that's the route I went. I used the birthday sentiment a couple of times, but you could absolutely swap out sentiments today, make it how you want to make it, right? So this is the awesome set of dies, and you guys, you're just gonna have like endless ideas for this set. I played and I almost didn't stop. Anywho, so we are going to do some die cutting together. Any of the stamping and die cutting we'll do together tonight. Any of the detailed dies like this cute little tree, I'm calling these the wheel wells. I don't know if that's the official name, but the wheel wells, that sort of stuff I did do ahead of time. So just so you know. And then we are also pulling out the Fright Night bundle. I am just using this Happy Halloween sentiment for one of the projects today. You can pull this from any stamp set, really. There is a banner die cut. If you get the class to go, there's a banner die cut, so you'll want to make sure it fits in there, or you can save that banner for something else as well, okay? What do you say? Let's see the cards. Now, you may have seen a couple of these already on my Facebook page, my blog, my Instagram, wherever, but let's take a look. So here's this cute one. I love it. Oh, that's so cool, Marva. I love this card so much. Hey, it's your birthday. And I don't even care. Like, some of my guy friends who have, they're like video game people, you know, they're gonna get some farm cards for their birthdays this fall. Here is the cute Happy Halloween. So this is where I was mentioning. Now, this label is also from the Fright Night bundle. I will have the label die cut for you if you take that class to go, but I can't send stamped images, so you'll have to fill in the sentiment here, okay? All right, so super duper cute. This one I cased from one of our artisan design team members, Yvonne Spickmans, I think is her name. Spickmans Van Bruggen, something like that. So there's that one. And then here's a cute little Christmas card. If we're making Halloween, we might as well make Christmas as well, right? And this sentiment is right in the tractor set. And then we've got this cute card right here as well. Hey, it's your birthday. I love this one as well. So we are going to make these 4 cards together tonight. If you would like the card kits for these, I am offering them as a thank you gift when you place an order with me this week. So if you place an order of $50 or more before tax and shipping and after any Stampin' Rewards are redeemed, by the end of the day this Friday, which is what day? The 15th, I think. Yeah, the 15th. I had to count in my head. I'm never good with the dates, you know? I'm like on the fly, like during my live video, I'm like, I don't know. But then somebody will say, like, what day is October 1st? And I'll be like, oh, it's on a Wednesday. You know, I don't know how this works, but anyway, I don't even know if October 1st is on a Wednesday, but I think it is. Anywho, I will send you these card kits as a thank you gift from me for placing an order with me. Just something special to say thanks. So these will go out in the mail. The card kits will go out in the mail next week, next Tuesday for you. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Where do I want to store these where I'm not going to forget them? We'll put it right there. We are going to go ahead and get started with this cute card. I love it so much. I love all of these cards. I can't wait to make them like in more colors too. I do not know what the lighting is doing on this video right now. I do apologize. I tried to play around with it before I went live, and then I was like, I'm going to really mess something up, so I got to play with it a little bit more. I think the dark mossy meadow color is just, yeah, pulling it in. Stacy, I'm so sorry. No, I can only ship to the US. I do apologize for that. So Stampin' Up has a rule for demonstrators. So because I'm in the US, I can only send to the US. But there are UK demonstrators. If you need help finding one, let me know. Okay? All right. So in this kit, you are going to have a Mossy Meadow card base. You are going to have a Mossy Meadow layer that is die cut embossed. With the Patterns of Friendship die. I am so sad this is on the last chance list, so grab it while you can because it's really good. You're going to have a piece of basic white for some stamping. you're going to have the word hey die cut out for you in both Lemon Lolly and in Basic White. Look how cute that is. We're going to do some shadow. I'm going to lay them out. We're going to do some shadow layering here with these. So that is, I just thought it was cute with the shadow. And then you're going to have a strip of early espresso cardstock to do some heat embossing on. I did do my heat embossing ahead of time tonight. We have a lot of things to stamp, and so I wanted to save just a smidge of time there. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with stamping. We are going to use Crumb Cake and Cajun Craze on this first card. So I'm going to stamp my hay bales. We want 2 of them in Crumb Cake. These totally look like tacos, by the way. So there's another fun card idea if you want to make some taco cards. Close up our Crumb Cake here. And you guys, this is a little ridiculous. Usually for my class to goes, I try to limit a little bit on the number of things I use. And I went a little bit wild with this one. We're using 10 different ink pad colors plus heat embossing supplies. So I apologize for that, but you know what? You can swap out these colors with lots of things. So let's grab our dies here. We're going to grab our hay bale taco. And let me get my Post-it note tape. Okay. We're going to use lots of Post-it note tape tonight. But it's so good. Like, you just have to. There's so many good images in here. So we want that, and we want our chicken or our rooster. I don't know which one this is, to be honest. So we'll just call it the bird. You want the bird. And, oh my goodness gracious. And then you're going to fling your dies around because you didn't press down on your tape when you stuck it down. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's grab our cut and emboss machine here so we can die cut these out. And we do want to, oh, what am I doing? What the heck? Is my tape not sticky? It is like not sticking. That is so weird. It is sticky. What is happening? Last week we had the internet issues, you know, so this week we're going to have Post-it note tape issues. Stay. Okay. It's going to stay now because I told it to. All right, let's die cut these out. Sorry for the camera shake. And we've got 1 hay bale. And we've got 1 chicken rooster bird. Oh, so cute. That little guy is so cute, our bird. Okay, and then we want to die cut out the other hay bale. And put that down and crank this through. Alrighty, we'll get this guy out of the way. And there's our hay bale. How fun is this set? I really like this set a lot. It's just so cute. It's so cute. Okay, so we can go ahead and start assembling then. We're going to add our Mossy Meadow layer to our card base. Now this is what I call die cut embossed because it's a big die that creates the background, but it doesn't actually punch out all these tiny little holes. However, it does create some texture for us, so I do like to add a lot of adhesive to it just to make sure everything stays stuck. You know, we want everything to stay where it's supposed to stay. All right, I added that to the card front, and then we can go ahead and fold and burnish. Like so. And then we're going to go ahead and work on our hay letters. So what I like to do, I take my, I use my silicone craft mat because I really like my seal adhesive, and sometimes seal doesn't fit everywhere, but I try to make it fit. So this way, if it runs off, if I get a little crazy, the silicone kind of repels that adhesive so it doesn't get anything else all stuck. So I just flipped over my Lemon Lolly letters, so they're on the back side, and added some seal, and then we're going to add these on top of our basic white letters. And I am just going a smidge down and a smidge to the right. Okay. You could do your shadow the other way as well, however you want to do it, but I really like the look of this. And the Y, I find if you go over just a smidge on here, it looks way thicker. I don't know. It's just probably science. Who knows? Anyway. All right. And then we can flip these guys over, and we are going to add some dimensionals. to the backs. And lots of dimensionals. These letters are actually quite tall. Don't know if you have this set, but if you get the class to go this week, you're going to be able to see them in real life, and I really like them. They are great. And you can see, for this instance, we could fit 3 on a card. So that kind of gives you in perspective like how big they really are. Is you can't really add a ton to a card, but they're super nice. Okay, so we've got all of those backings, and then we can add these to our card front. So I'll start with the H, and I am looking at my embossed die cut, whatever you want to call it, the layer here. I'm looking at that and leaving about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, or not quite, in between 1/8 and 1/4, kind of. And we are just going to lay these guys all down. And I'm making sure that that lemon lolly is lined up on the bottom as well. Okay, so now that we have those all added, we can go ahead and add our hay bales. Now, one of our hay bales we're going to lay flat, and if we butt it up right here against the Y, it sticks off. Now, you could stick it down before you glue that Y down, but I'm just going to chop off some of it. Okay. If you wanted to save this piece, you could tuck it in on the other side. You know, super duper cute. But I liked the multi-level look of the hay. Like, there's a lot of it, right? Okay, so then we're going to stick this in. I'm not going to worry too much about it popping out at the bottom because we're going to add this one with dimensionals, and it's going to cover that. So let's add a couple of dimensionals here. And I put some seal on the top of the bale just so that it's where it connects with that Y is glued down as well. Then we can stick that down. Okay, then we're going to take our sentiment that we magically heat embossed, right? I love it. Lene has made a bunch of stuff for, I know Lene was excited about these dies for her classroom, so I am glad that you've gotten a lot of use out of them. They are so fun. It's like a go-to now. Now I've made a banner, and I can't wait to make more banners. Hi, Gail. No worries on being late. We are just glad you're here. And Amy says she loves my shirt. Amy, happy belated birthday. I think it was yesterday, right? Happy belated birthday. I hope you had a fun day. Okay, so we've got, hey, this one's for you. Hey, it's your birthday. Even though I mailed you a different card, just pretend. All right, so I left a bunch of stuff to the left here. We're going to cut that down, but I'm going to add this to the card first. We want the chicken to cover the left-hand side. I said we were going to call it a bird, and then I keep calling it a chicken. We're just going to go with chicken because that's probably what it is. Unless it's a rooster. We had a set a few years ago. I think it was, I don't remember the name of it, but it had like the skateboarding guy and whatever, and I had so many messages. I kept saying chickens, and I got so many messages, no, that's a rooster. I'm like, how can you tell? I mean, I'm sure there are lots of ways you can tell, but to the average eye that doesn't know the difference. Well, I know, isn't the rooster male? I think the rooster is the male, right? Anywho, yeah, so that's our chicken talk for the day. Okay, so I added a mini dimensional up on the chicken's head and some seal at the bottom because the bottom is going to lay on our sentiment, but that chicken's head is going to go on the hay bale. I want it to be lifted so it's level with the sentiment there. And what you can also do, which I think we are going to do, is you can sneak in, if you see here, our chicken is kind of floating where his tail is. So you can sneak in a couple of dimensionals there, and that's what I'm going to do just to give it a little bit of extra support. So on my snips, I'm just going to put down one mini dimensional and peel off the backing. And then I'm going to stick down the other one. Okay. And then we're going to sneak these under. We can just eyeball it, make sure that it's not seen. And then I just I push down on it to slide the snips out. Okay. And then that is added there. And this one we can finish off with the textured dots. And I like these embellishments a lot too. And they're a little bit different than the pressed flower motifs, but they're kind of similar in color and size. But these are not flowery. Okay, so we've got a couple of these little dots here. We'll add one more up here. And that is our first card. What do you think of this one? I think it's so fun. I think it would be really fun to substitute out some colors as well. But Mossy Meadow with Cajun Craze I think are really, really nice fall colors. And we added that lemon lolly in. I was debating on like a Darling Duckling or a Crushed Curry, but I really wanted the brightness in here too. So we've got lemon lolly in it. I mean, this video is not really doing the colors great justice, but it looks really nice. Trust me. I'm gonna figure out this lighting. Like sometimes it doesn't look bad, but then when I add in like a dark color, it like pulls that lighting so wild. I think I have my auto exposure or something turned on. I don't know. Anywho, let's go into card number 2. So this one is super duper cute. This is the one I cased from the Artisan Design Team member. If you have not heard of Artisan Design Team before, Stampin' Up! Has a group of demonstrators. They have to apply for the job, and they are pretty talented people. Like they know techniques that you've never even heard of, that kind of thing. So I cased this card from one of the Artisan Design Team members. I thought it was so cute. So I made it a little bit simpler than hers was. And yeah, I just love it. So let's take a look. We've got a blueberry bushel card base. We've got a scrap of basic white for stamping. You can see it's quite a large scrap because we have quite a lot of stamping to do. We've got a layer of basic white. This is going to go on our card. We've got a square of gorgeous grape that we're going to do some ink blending on. So that we're probably going to start with because we're going to do something with Wink of Stella and I want it to have time to dry. You're going to have a gorgeous grape label die cut. So this is from that Fright Night set. There we go. Come on, focus. You can do it. There we go. So that will be die cut for you and you'll heat emboss your sentiment on there or add whatever sentiment you would like. And then we've got some cute little trees. So you'll have a piece of gorgeous grape to die cut out 3 of these cute little trees here. And they're going to look really nice. Look how they look against that background because these are just gorgeous grape and we're going to blend ink onto here. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm excited to make this exact card like 4 more times. 40 more times. I don't know, a lot of times. And then we've got some blueberry bushel cardstock here that you'll get to die cut out the wheel wells. And if there is a different name for them than wheel wells, you can let me know, but I'm going to keep calling them wheel wells until somebody tells me that's not what they're called. Okay, so we're going to start with this gorgeous grape square. And I've got my Blackberry Bliss ink pad. Any dark purple will work. And I've got my purple blending brush here. And we're just going to pick up some color on the blending brush. You want to tap it off first because it looks like, I don't know, like a fingerprint almost if you go direct onto your piece. Some of it you could cover up with some of your pieces here, but you know. And then what I'm actually considering to be the top of the card is over here to my right because I'm right-handed. So it's easier for me to push the ink from this direction than it would be to like come down like this. So just for perspective. And you can add as much or as little as you want to. I don't feel like I need to go all the way down to the bottom here because we are going to cover that up with some stamped images. And then it also keeps your fingers a little bit cleaner because, you know, it's ink and you can get inky fingers. All right, so just keep going until you're happy with it. I think this is our last pass, and then I think that looks pretty good to me. And sometimes you feel like you didn't do anything, and then you can remove this, and wow, look at that. I did stuff. I just feel like sometimes when I add the ink blending onto it, I'm like, oh, doesn't even look like I added any ink blending, and then it's like, wow, yes, I did. Yes, I for sure did. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my messy scrap paper here. Look at this. This side is messier. Maybe we'll do it on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flick on some Wink of Stella. Now, I want that to have some time to dry, which is why we started with this piece. I've got my Wink of Stella here. Okay, you're going to want the tip to be juicy. So mine's good, but if yours is not, you might want to squeeze out a little bit. Be careful so it doesn't like glob, right? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to smack this against my bone folder to add a little bit of sparkle onto our piece here. Now another cool way to do this is with a water painter with just water. And it creates a really cool effect. But I wanted some like shiny, I don't know, just shiny stuff, you know? Shiny stars, come on. They went down towards the bottom. It's like flicking onto my bone folder, so I'm trying to do it this way. And then if you want to, you could just take dot, 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 like that. And then it gets all over your bone folder, and that's okay because that's what the bottom of your chair is made for. I think we had that discussion a few weeks ago. People use their black pants. They make sure they wear black pants when they craft so they can wipe stuff off. Anyway, I use the bottom of my chair. All right, so then you can see how pretty that is, right? So a lot of those pieces went down here, which is why I wanted to keep going because our top is up here. Maybe I should have flipped it around, but that's all right. It just, you've got bigger globs, you've got smaller globs, and they look like stars. It's so pretty. So I'm going to set this off to the side so it has a little bit of time to dry. We can close up our messy scrap paper and move that out of the way. Actually, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it. Hold on. We are going to do some stamping, and we need to do some stamping off, if you couldn't tell from that, right? So I'm going to grab my chamois out real quick. We're going to grab our hay bale, and we last stamped it in crumb cake, so I did want to just clean it off because we're switching colors. And then, let me grab, look at all the, we got lots of stamping to do. Okay, so let me grab my Timid Tiger, and we are going to stamp 2 hay bales stamped off. Okay, so we're going to stamp it onto our scrap, and then stamp it down onto the basic white, onto the scrap, and then onto the basic white. And then we can take our pumpkins, and we want 3 sets of pumpkins. Let's see, will they go next to it? Yes, they will. And the pumpkins I am doing in full strength. So our hay bales and our pumpkins look like they're a little bit of a different color, and they're not. It's just generation stamping where we have, you know, done a stamped off and then a full strength. So pretty cool. All right, hold on. There we go. My mouse went to sleep. Okay, so we've got our Timid Tiger. Then we're going to want to stamp our tractor. And tractor, I mean, you can stamp this in any color you want. I actually did not do a green tractor for any of the cards today, but of course that's the classic, right? So we're going to stamp it in Blueberry Bushel. I like the Moody Blue color. We'll close up that ink pad, and then we need to stamp a couple of tires for our tractor. So I'm going to use Basic Gray. We've got our big one, and we need one little one. Okay, just like so. And then we're going to die cut out all of these images, and then we can assemble. So super duper cute. I love this card a lot. I think it's just so fun. And I actually know a couple of people, what am I looking for? My dies, here they are. I actually know a couple of people who have birthdays on Halloween, and I thought that this would be a really fun card for them too. I have a friend and a cousin who were both born on Halloween. So I like to do, not full Halloween themed cards, but like kind of Halloween-ish cards for them. I am a December baby, and so I feel like I have every right to do that. I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel bad because, you know, they have to share their birthday with Halloween. But then I'm like, I feel like anybody who has a birthday in December has to share their birthday with Christmas. No matter what day it is in December. Christmas. And I'm not mad about it. But that just gives me the right to send Halloween-themed cards on a Halloween birthday, right? All right, so we've got our cute tractor here. And then I'm going to rip this piece in half again, and we're going to do our tires. So we've got a big tire. These could also be used as gears. Okay, and our little tire. And you just want to make sure with these that you line them up so you get those little, you know, the spindly parts, whatever they're called. Okay, so we've got that. Let's pull in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we're going to crank these through. Now we do have to do the pumpkins a couple of times. So just keep that in mind here. Okay. Try to get most of it on camera. I'm so sorry. It's going to shake a lot. Oh, I have fellow December babies. I love it. Yeah, I'm not mad about celebrating with Christmas. I just am saying it is a thing. Yeah, last year for my birthday, my birthday's at the beginning of the month, and we actually have a cute little Christmas place, like a Christmas light place or whatever, nearby, and we like to go every year, but you can actually rent cabins, and you know, being in Minnesota, it is quite cold here. in the winter. Several of you are northern state people, and you understand what I mean. It is quite chilly here in the winter, and so they have some cabins that you can rent out. You get a s'mores kit, so everybody can roast a marshmallow. Santa will come and visit your cabin. You have like a portable, they have portable heaters in there, so it's a heated area. There's a lock on the door, so you can, you know, if you bring too many jackets and mittens and all of that sort of thing, like you can leave them in there. It's so nice. So anyway, last year we ended up renting a cabin for my birthday, and I think I want to do it again because it was fun. And the night we went, of course, it was like 0 degrees outside, so nobody else was there. Like almost nobody was there, and it was epic because we had like the whole place to ourselves, and it felt more magical. Especially the closer you go to Christmas, obviously, it's busier, and so then, you know, all of the lights you're seeing, you have people in like your view all the time. It was just awesome. Anyway, I hope you enjoy my story time while I die cut some images out here. Okay, let's switch this washi tape. And we've got our last pumpkin. Get that lined up. And on one of these pumpkins, we're going to fussy cut out that larger one that is fully in the foreground to make it look like it's sitting on the tractor seat. Super cute. So, all right. So if you have one of your pumpkins that gets a little bit off when you die cut it, that might be the one you want to use for your fussy cutting. Okay, and then we'll sneak this in here. And I have to put my dies away right away. Otherwise they go who knows where. And we've got all of these fun pieces. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and assemble. So I'm going to grab that gorgeous grape piece. I think it should be pretty dry by now. We're going to add some seal on the back. And then layer this at the top of our basic white. So you've got a smaller margin on the top and the sides, and a larger section at the bottom. We can add this onto our card front. It looks like a picture, like a Polaroid picture. I think that's really cute. Okay, and then we're going to burnish our fold, like so. And then we can add all of our fun pieces. So I'm going to take the 2 hay bales and 2 pumpkins, and I think these ones are fine. They all turned out pretty good. So we're going to just add some seal on the back of these. I already did add seal on that one. And we are going to do some assembling. So I want the hay bale to be behind the pumpkin, but I'm just kind of holding the pumpkin above so I know right about where I want to put that hay bale. And I don't mind if things stick off the edge. If you don't want yours to stick off the edge, I would avoid gluing everything down until you have these seams in place, okay? And then I'm just lining that up so that the bottom of the pumpkin die cut is at the bottom of our gorgeous grape layer. All right, and then we'll go this side, and I kind of want this hay bale to be a slightly different height, but it's all right because it's going to get kind of covered by the tractor. And we can tack these guys down. And oh, thanks, Teresa. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and assemble our tractor. Now here's the best way I found to do this. I flip my tractor over and I add seal right above where the wheels go. And I just do 3 little strips here. And I take my wheels, and I suppose you probably could have the wheels on the outside, but for all of my cards, I actually have the wheel wells on. So I just kind of line this up and push down to pick that up. So I've got that adhesive on the back side, and that way I don't add adhesive on the wheel that accidentally gets exposed, right? And I just eyeball it to see that they're about level, the bottoms here. So it looks, you know, realistic. You don't want one like way higher than the other, right? And then I take these wheel wells and add just a bit of seal. Remember last week we played with the coneflowers, which by the way, the dies are back in stock if you were waiting for those. And I said that the one die looked like a bow tie pasta. Well, these are elbow noodles. You could make a total like pasta themed card, I think, with these dies. The coneflower and then these ones here. Anywho, so then we just add those on, okay? All right. Oh, frog in my throat. We are going to add some dimensionals to the back of our tractor. And I like to put a dimensional down where it's crossing over the tire and just the regular part here, just for extra, I don't know, adhesion. I know the pumpkin is so cute. All right, then we're going to tack this down. You can slide this wherever you want on your card. I have this little divot here, right? And yes, you could add another hay bale if you want to do that as well, but I just want to make sure that it's covered. So I'm going to make sure my tractor kind of covers that area. I am putting it up a little bit so it's not quite at the bottom level with the pumpkins, just so we can see a little bit more of those. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our remaining pumpkin set and we're going to cut out this pumpkin right here. So what I do is I just take my snips, and you've got that like white line in here. I just cut against this middle pumpkin. I cut right along that line there. Now, it's not perfect, but it looks just fine. It's going to be all right, okay? All right, so then we can add some seal, and I just tuck this under so it looks like it's sitting on the seat. How cute! So cute. Okay. And then we're going to take our trees and we're going to tuck these into our scene as well. Okay, so we've got 3 trees. And we are going to add 1. Now you might have to pick up some pieces, just a smidge, just to sneak things under where you want them. So I'm going to stick 1 on the left, and then we're going to put 2 over on the right. So this one, that's all the way to the right. I want it to be a little bit shorter than the one next to it. And we have that tractor that can help us disguise the bottom. So that's really nice. So we've got those different heights there. Okay. Then we can take our cute Halloween banner, add a couple of dimensionals. So fun. I love this card. I know I've said that a lot, but I really like this card. And then I just tack this down right under the wheels. Like so. Isn't that cute? It's so cute. All right, we are going to finish this one off, hi Debbie, with the foam shimmer star sequins. Now with these, if you use your take your pick tool, like I love to use for my embellishments, this, okay, foam is in the title, but if you're anything like me, you didn't think about that. The first time I put these on a project, I used my putty end and then I squished them. They're still cute, but they are flat. So I like to use my pointy end for this embellishment specifically, and I just get under there where the little, glue is holding it down, and I just grab that and place these down onto the card. So just a heads up, because I don't know why I didn't think about it. I just didn't. And then I stuck it down and I was like, oh, they're foam, ding dong. To myself, not to you. If you made the same mistake, you are not a ding dong. Oh, anywho, I just was like, oh my gosh, Melissa, come on. All right, so that is our second card. Oh, it looks like a scene from Scooby-Doo. I love it. There is this one. I think it's just so cute, and I love, look at that Wink of Stella shimmer. It's so, so cute. All right. Let's go on to our third card. We're switching from Halloween to Christmas. So cute. I know the stars are really cute for this card, isn't it? Hi, Maddie. All right, we're going to do our third card here, which is this cute Christmas one. And the season's greeting sentiment is in the tractor bundle. So that's really nice as well. So for this one, we've got a Lost Lagoon card base. We've got a basic white layer here. We're going to use this as a mat. You've got a pool party layer. Now I embossed this with the Waves embossing folder. It will come embossed for you in your kit. I love this folder so much. I know it's called Waves, but I think you can use it for anything. So I picture this as like snow flurries, right? When the wind just swirls it around. That's how I pictured that, okay? All right, we're going to have a piece of basic white for some stamping. We're going to have a strip of basic white to create our snowy hill. We are going to have, I had just added in another piece of basic white just in case for our sentiment, in case it didn't fit on this piece. So we'll see if we need that. And then you're going to have some cardstocks to do some die cutting. So we've got some basic black for our wheels. We want 3 small and 1 big. We've got some pool party for these little, I don't know, hubcaps, whatever you want to call them. We've got those pieces there. So these are really nice because when you die cut out the big one, you have 1. And when you die cut out the little one, there are 3 in a row. So that's really nice. And then you're going to die cut out these little wheel well things out of cherry cobbler. Okay, so here's 4 of those. And then I've got the cute little seat out of basic black. Now, if you wanted to stamp this in basic white or on basic white and then die cut it out with that die, you could do that as well. But you can also use this die just as a straight die, which I really liked. So, all right, we've got all these pieces. Let me just see if I can keep them mostly arranged, but scoot them up here so they don't, you know, get attracted under a die cutting machine and then go missing forever. You love a red tractor. I know, isn't it cute? I'm trying to sneak this into the frame too. We'll just scoot them more. There, it's kind of in the frame. All right, let's start with stamping because it's the best way to start. We've got, you know what, we need to clean our tractor because we are switching this from a blueberry bushel tractor to a cherry cobbler tractor. All right, you could use real red as well. I think that would be really pretty. So I wanted to go a little bit like traditional Christmas colors, but a little bit not traditional Christmas colors. So that is what we're going with this one. So we've got our cherry cobbler ink pad. We are going to stamp our tractor and a wagon. Let's see, we'll do that right there. Okay, and then we've got our wagon. It's actually a skinny piece, so it works out kind of nice here. Stamp that down, and then we can close up our cherry cobbler before we dip our arm in it and, you know, get all inky. We've got our garden green for our cute set of trees here. Okay, so ink those up like so. I'm running out of room to put my stamps over here. Let me do a little organizing without knocking my stamp set off of the desk. That would not be good. Okay, we've got that, and then, oh, you know what? We're going to need cherry cobbler again in a second. And then we've got Lost Lagoon to stamp a couple of these cute little banners to go on our wagon. So I'm going to stamp 2 of them and just kind of go wherever they fit here. We've got one there and one there. In your kit, you'll have a bigger piece of basic white. It's just I like to test myself sometimes, I guess. Can I make it all fit? I don't know. It's a puzzle. All right, good thing I had this extra piece of basic white, right? Because we are going to add our sentiment, Season's Greetings. And I just like to stamp it towards the bottom. So when I take my trimmer to it, I only have to cut off that the top, you know, white section. I don't have to do both of those sides there. So there we go. We've got it all stamped. We can go ahead and die cut some stuff out. So we've got our tractor, and I've got my Post-it note tape ready here. We're going to have to run it through twice because we only have one of the banner dies. So if you find that you have some dies or some stamps that are too close to each other, where you can't run the dies through at the same time, that's okay because we're going to have to run it through twice anyway, so you can just save something. Save something for later. Okay, and we've got our trees. And I like that the trees, just like the pumpkins, they have a solid line at the bottom. So if you do want them to fit in the wagon, they will. Then we've got our cute banner here. And let's see if this one will fit. Yes, that one will. So we'll just get that guy lined up there. We're going to use both of these tiny little pieces of tape because you just never know, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and slide that off to the side. Grab our die cutting machine. Crank that all the way so we can pull the plate all the way through. And then we're going to die cut these images out. And we get a little shaky. I apologize for that. Okay, so we've got our tractor. And I am putting my dies away as I go because I don't want to lose them. We've got our tractor, we've got our wagon, we've got our trees, and then we've got our cute banner. So there's one of our banners. Whoop. Pull those off here. And we'll die cut out our last banner. These are just so cute. You can add these to the tractor also, and they just turn out so super cute, but you can fit 2 of them on the wagon. There's a little bit of a gap between them when you do 2 on the wagon, but we're going to add a bow. So it's going to be really cute because you need a cute little twine bow for a Christmas card. I mean, come on. All right. Die die cut this guy out, and then we can scooch this out of the way. Okay, so there's our last cute little banner. How fun is that? And don't put it down, put it away. There we go. It's on the sheet. Okay, so let's trim out our sentiment and then we will assemble this one. I'm so glad you like the colors on this one. I don't really have a huge preference with like traditional Christmas colors versus non-traditional. I like both. I think that they both can look really pretty. So this one is a little bit of a mix because you've got cherry cobbler and garden green, which are definitely, you know, traditional Christmas. But then we've got some Lost Lagoon and some Pool Party, which are really pretty together. So I really like the colors in this one too. All right, so let's go ahead and start assembling. We are going to start with our basic white strip here. And I am going to tear this to create what I think looks like a little snowy hill. Now I'm not making it too steep. You can make yours as steep as you want to, but I am pulling this towards me because that is where we see the core of our paper. And it's a little fuzzy, and I think that looks really pretty. So we are going to add some seal on the back side. And then layer this on the bottom of our Pool Party layer. Now, the embossing folder with this, I think is traditionally supposed to be this side. It's a little bit smoother. I really like the debossed side, which is a little harsher on the lines. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a me thing. But anytime I use this folder, I tend to use that debossed side because I just really like it. So anywho, that's the side I'm going to use on this one. And then we're just going to trim off any of that excess. And I made this piece a little bit longer so that if you have a section you didn't really love as much on your teared piece, you can kind of slide it down until you find what you like, okay? All right, and then we're going to add some seal. And this is an embossed piece, so we want to add a lot of adhesive, and then I got a seal booger in here, so I got to clean it out. If you've been here for a while, you know. Our seal boogers. I just put it right on the back of the layer. All right, and then we are going to layer this onto our basic white mat. I like the look of that as well. And add some seal. And then add this to our Lost Lagoon card base. I just center that there, press that down, and then we can fold and burnish the card. Okay, just like so. All right, so now we get to do lots of fun assembly. Silicone mat's going to be our friend for sure because we've got both our tractor and our wagon that we need to add wheels to. So I'm just going to do that same trick I taught you on the last card, or that I talked about on the last card. Just add a little bit of seal all the way around our wheel wells here. And I don't really mind if I have extra exposed adhesive on the back side because you're not going to see the back side, right? So then we're going to take our cute little tractor wheels, our die cut ones here, and just grab these. They're so cute. They honestly look a little funny without the little wheel well things on them, I think. All right, then we're going to grab our wagon, do the same thing here. And I just make sure that's about even. Right, so we've got these pieces, and then we can take our wheel wells and flip them to the back sides and add some adhesive. Now, if you want to use liquid glue for this, absolutely by all means have at it. It's just not my favorite. I'm a tape girl. I really love our seal, so that's what I use if I can. Okay, let's go ahead and add these. Now, this biggest wheel well is a little bit easier. You've got that curve right there. So I just make sure none of that white space is showing to get that one lined up. And then these little ones, if I do have any exposed seal, I just fold it back on itself and attach these down. Like so. Same thing for our wagon or our trailer. I don't know. What would you call this? The wagon or the trailer? I think you could go both ways with it. Okay, so we've got these guys added. And last but not least, and I am going to use liquid glue for this one. So let's hope that my fingers don't get sticky. But we've got these little, I don't know, hubcap type things, and we need to add these on. And they, especially the smaller ones, they are quite little. So an adhesive sheet would work wonders, or you can just use some liquid glue here and just add these to the center of our wheels. And if you'd like to, you can actually add these to the center of the wheels before you add them to the tractor. Might be a little bit easier to line up. Come on, I'm trying not to squeeze too hard because, you know, that never ends well. But I need more to come out. You call it a wagon. Okay. Thanks, Nancy. Yes, I know. This is so cute. Oh, your grandfather used to give you rides on his tractor, and your uncle has the farm now. That is so sweet. My grandpa helped with hay bales. They had farm land behind their house, but it didn't belong to them. And so he would help with like collecting the hay in the fall and all that. And then my uncle used to host, they called it a wood gathering party. So they used to host one every year, and I honestly have absolutely no idea what the purpose of it was. I don't know what the adults did at it, because I was a kid when we had this, and it stopped when I was a kid. So I only remember the fun I had, right? But my uncle had like a four-wheeler, and he would put us all in the trailer, all the cousins in the trailer, and, you know, pull us through. It's like a haunted hayride, but not really haunted. But he'd pull us through around the neighborhood and whatever, and it was so much fun. So that was cool. Out in Wisconsin, right? All right, so let's add some dimensionals to our our wagon and our tractor. So this is what that reminds me of. And I wish I had like more pictures from that, because I'm like, I think I would go make like a scrapbook page about it, because that was a really fun thing. Like, we always looked forward to the wood gathering. Okay, so let's add these pieces. Now I like to pick them up at the same time just to make sure spacing wise we've got those good here. So we can stick our tractor down, and then we're going to stick that wagon down. There is a little like trailer hitch or wagon hitch here, so I just make sure that's underneath my little hubcap, and that looks pretty good to me. So we'll stick those guys down. And then we've got a few more things to add here. So we've got our seat. Okay, I'm just going to add a bit of seal. And then we're going to sneak this under, just like we did with the pumpkins on the last card. Just kind of sneak that under. Super duper cute. There's also like a die cut you can do here with the steering wheel and everything. And I did not use those. There's also one with like the top cover thing. Anyway, I did not use those on any of my cards today, but you can absolutely add them to any of the cards. They would be really, really cute. So, all right, for our banners, I added some seal. And I did actually try my original card. I tried to add these with liquid glue, but I think because of the dimension of the wheel wells there, it didn't really go very well. So I do find seal to work better for these. We've got our cute trees here. And we're just going to tuck those in behind the wagon. So cute, so cute. And then we've got our sentiment that we can pop up on some dimensionals. And I'm like really excited to keep playing with this bundle. There's, you know, I don't buy things that I don't like. I think we all do that, right? I sure hope you don't buy things that you don't like. But anywho, there's things that I just really, really, really like, and this is one of those bundles I just really love. Like, every project I've seen made with it is so cute. It's a good one for sure. Okay, so I just tied a little bow with my white baker's twine. I've got a little twisted piece here, so I'm going to retie it because that's going to bug me. I have to, you know, I try to make sure it's not twisted, but sometimes it just happens. Okay, that looks better. And we can just size our bow, and I don't want it to be too big. It's going to go right here in between our banners. So I don't want it to be like giant, but you can size it however you'd like. And then we're going to stick the knot on the dot and grab our take your pick tool, that pointy end again. And I just use that to pick it up, and we're going to stick it right in the middle where those two banners meet. Oh, so cute. It's so fun. All right, and then for this one, I am going to embellish it with some iridescent pearls. Hi, Judy. I'm going to embellish it with these because I think they look like snowflakes. And in this pearl pack, you get a lot of the small pearls. So I'm going to just use the small pearls. You can see my pack is doing pretty good. I've narrowed down, you know, I've got the same sizes left, or same quantities of sizes left, but I don't know. I just decided we're going to go with the small pearls to use some of those up, right? And that is card number 3. How fun is that one too? I love it. So stinking cute. So that is our 3rd card. Let's go on to our 4th and final card. And it is this one. So we've got a little bit of a longer live today. Hope you don't mind. These cards are worth it. In my opinion, they are so worth it. Okay, so for this one, I thought, you know what? Let's go back to something that can be used for the fall. And we've got this cute one here, and it's actually quite simple to put this one together. So this one will be fun and a little quicker. We don't have a ton of things to stamp here. So we've got a crumb cake card base. We've got a crumb cake layer that is embossed for you with the Forever Plaid. Love this folder. It is great for school, fall, Christmas, spring. I don't care. It's great all the time. So we've got that guy. We've got a basic white piece for stamping. We've got a pecan pie circle that I will have die cut for you. I took the largest Stylish Shapes die, and then I nested the second largest one inside of it to get this fun little ring here. So we've got that. You'll have a piece of Pretty Peacock to do your heat embossing of your sentiments, so I did do that ahead of time. And then you're going to have some Lost Lagoon to die cut out just your 2 little wheel wells here. So super easy peasy on this card compared to the other ones anyway. Let's start with stamping, and we're going to clean off our tractor because we do not need a cherry cobbler tractor for this one. Although you could make it whatever color you want. I liked the thought of making it Lost Lagoon. So that is what we're going to do with this one. And here's my Lost Lagoon. I had to find it. We are going to open that up and stamp our tractor. I like the size of the images in here too, because the tractor is, I mean, it's a substantial tractor, but it's actually not that big of a stamp. So it can take up a nice size on your card, but it's not like overpowering. All right, so we've got that, and then we've got our darling duckling. We're going to stamp some corn. Okay, so we've got our little corn stamp here. Stamp that down. These also work really great as Christmas lights if you want to do that. I know, they are so cute. And then we've got our garden green to do our corn stalks. Excuse me. All right, so we'll ink these up. And then we've got to do a couple of tires. So I left the tires in basic gray. That is what we stamped them in for our second card. So I thought, you know what? We can just leave them the same color because I already used 10 ink pads. So we've got our big and our little. Go ahead and ink these up. And we will die cut all of this out. Look, I gave myself a little bit more room on this piece of basic white, than I did on the last card. So I didn't even have to like try to make a puzzle. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces here. Let's grab our dies. And I might sneeze, just so you know. I can feel it coming. You know how you can feel them sometimes? It might happen, and it might not, but anywho, just in case. At least the stamping's done, right? Oh, could you imagine sneezing while stamping? What a nightmare. Anywho, all right. So let's line these guys up. There's going to be a little tab at the bottom of the corn, which makes it easier to adhere it to the stalks. So don't get like, when you come across that and it's like just leftover white space. It is intentional so that it's easier to adhere. You didn't do anything wrong. I thought, I did something wrong. And then I was like, no, I think it's good. This is how it's supposed to be, right? Okay. Then we've got our wheel, our tire. Get that guy lined up here. Then we've got our little one here. And there we go. Let's move this out of the way. Our last die cutting, our last shaking of the table. Because my camera is sitting on my ink pad storage that's on the desk. That is like, a couple of inches away from this die cutting machine. So I do apologize for the shaking. But it's worth it, right? For some cute images. All right, there's our tractor. And I have that song stuck in my head now. The one we talked about at the beginning. Not the big green tractor one, the other one. Okay, then we've got corn. Now the corn is going to all come out individually, so don't lose them. Don't let them fly. Okay, we've got our corn stalk. And we've got our wheels. So I'm leaving those corn pieces in just for right now so I don't misplace them. Okay, so then we can just pick this up. Oh, did you see that? That was not on purpose. I like flung it, but all of the corn is accounted for, okay? Okay. All right, there's all the pieces. We can get this guy out of the way and start assembling. So we are going to, you know what, let's cut our sentiments first. So I've got hey and it's your birthday, and I want these to be in separate strips here. So I'm just gonna cut these down and then, you know, trim off the ends here. Every time I try to trim off the end with my snips, it is not even. So I just have resorted to the fact that I just have to use my trimmer. Okay, I'm going to cut off a little bit of the bottom there. And it's a little too close. Cut that top. And then we're going to cut off the sides of hey. Have you guys seen the movie Grown Up? With, I forget the actor's name now, but I think he says Maze, and that's what I think of when I think hey. Anyway, just a fun story. Okay, so let's add some seal to our embossed piece. And again, it has texture, so lots of adhesive, and if you press too hard, you're going to rip your cardstock like I did, but it's okay. Just add more glue. And then we are going to layer this onto our card front. Okay, and then we can fold and burnish. Like so. And then we're going to add our pecan pie circle. Now it is skinny enough that liquid glue is going to work better for this one. So I'm going to just add a little glue. We don't need like a ton. Okay. And then we can just tack this down to the center of our card. Now, it is going on an embossed piece, and so I do find it's a little bit hard to like push it down and get it to stay down. So I just grab one of my clear blocks and I just press that on top to help kind of push that down. Just so I don't, you know, it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not flexible, but kind of flexible. I just can't think of the word. If you press it down and you push too hard, you might slide it around. So I just choose to do the block. It works a little bit easier for me. All right, and then we can go ahead and adhere all of these fun pieces together. So I've got my tractor, and we'll add a little bit of seal on the tires and pick these guys up again. Like so. And add our little wheel wells. I will just add some seal. And we'll stick these guys down. So cute. I love that you can make the tractors in whatever color too. So many options. You can make a green one, which I didn't do. I'm gonna have to make a green green card at some point. A green tractor card. Okay, so we've got our tractor. Where do I want to put that? Over there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my corn stalks. Now what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna do kind of that same method where I just add some seal. And it's a little bit tricky on the backside to know where you want to add your seal, so you can just add it all across the top. And then I've got all these corn pieces here, and I'm just going to stick this down and pick them up. Okay, and I'm not even worrying about the silicone mat because I don't want to have to pick up all these little corn pieces. I just want them to be where they are, right? I don't want to lose them in transit. Okay, so we picked all those up, and then what I do is I just add some seal right on top of them and go all the way down that corn stalk because this is going to get adhered flat to our card. And then we can pull in our tractor and add some dimensionals. Okay, like so. Peel off those backings. And then what we're going to do, kind of like the last card where we just, you know, eyeballed where things were going before we fully stuck them down. That's what we're going to do with this one. So I want the corn to be to the left. So I think that looks pretty good. So we'll just set that corn down then. And press that down, and then we can add our tractor right there. So cute. All right, then we'll take our sentiments. We're almost done. We're going to add some mini dimensionals on the back. And luckily, the mini dimensionals work perfectly for these little skinny strips of cardstock. You can peel off the backings. And then you can go ahead and add these to the card. Oop, and keep a backing on your finger. All right, so let's adhere that the right way. So it's not upside down. So I'm going to stick the hay down first at the bottom of the corn. Then I'm going to stick down, it's your birthday. Right there, looks good to me. So cute. All right, for this one, we are going to finish it off with our rainbow dots. Now, we do have Lost Lagoon rainbow dots, but there's also Pool Party, so I wanted to go a little bit lighter, and I went with Pool Party for these. So stick down 1 and stick down 2, and that is card number 4. What do you think of this one, too? I am so glad you love them all. If you have a favorite, let me know which one it is, but I really like all of them too. I think because my head is a little bit into Halloween right now, I really like the Halloween one. Okay, I'm going to put these this way so they fit a little bit better here. But these are our 4 cards we made tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure that you give the video a like, share it, you know, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, or like my Facebook page, depending on where you're watching. That really helps me out. And I super appreciate it when you do that. So yeah, these are the 4 cards. As a reminder, if you would like the card kits for these as a free thank you gift from me, I am offering them this week with a $50 or more order before tax and shipping and after any Stampin' Rewards are redeemed in my online store through this Friday, August 15th. So it's a mouthful, but yeah. You can click the link in the description of this video to go shopping if you are wanting the card kits. And then, of course, my incredible crafters team members will get the PDF for free. There's also a PDF that gets sent to those who purchase the class to go or order for the class to go. So yeah, I think that's it. Don't forget that the Funfold Frenzy Craft Along Kit registration closes on Sunday for that. So, and I mail them out Tuesday, so it's like a really fast thing. I get them out super duper fast so that you can have them in time, hopefully, to craft along. And yeah, I think that's all. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. And I'll see you again live next week. We are going to play with the Peaceful Pier set. It was actually quite cool. Kathleen Chapman was at the event I was at a couple of weeks ago. And it's her $1 million set. So I got to see some cards that she actually got to make with her stamp set, which was pretty special. So we are going to play with that next week. It's going to be a blast. And yeah, I think that's all. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.